Hi, guys. Welcome to Biblically Learning. This is where I go over a new tool that allows you at home, without listening to my podcast or accessing any scholars, can now still learn about your Bible at the depth, if not even more than the scholars that I interview on my podcast. This is a tool called Logos that was so generously shared with me by that company that is essentially allowing me to get scholar level insight on the questions that I have about the Bible through their software that I can get if I don't have a scholar that's available. Now I have a tool that can allow me to answer questions, have timelines, have translations right at my fingertips. And so I'm going to share it with you on how I use one of my favorite tools today called Advanced Timeline. So the main question that I want to answer with the Advanced Timeline tool is, what else was going on in the world during the life of this character? Because to me, that's the main question that I have. You look at the conversations I have with Dr. Robert Carter or Dr. James Sedlicek. What else was going on in the world during that time? Well, this tool is going to answer that question. Before we get into it, I have to say it, like and subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it helps me so much. And it lets YouTube know that you guys like my content, so it'll push it to more people and so they can get answers about their faith walk. Okay, now let's jump into the tool. Okay, so this is the Logo software. It's really user friendly, really clear, but don't be deceived. There are hundreds of commentaries, Bibles, and guides built into this software. This is the desktop version for you to jump into immediately. And I'm not going to lie, their support is phenomenal. So to jump into advanced timeline, we're just going to go over here, click on that through the tools, and a couple things that you need to know. This is all world history according to the scholars from all the commentaries and all the sources. And you can filter it by many different things. You've got event types, subject areas, Bible books, people, places. You can view it based on Bible and church eras versus Western history eras. There's a lot of things you can do in this tool, but there's only one thing that I want to do. I want to know what else was happening during the year that main characters, described by Dr. James Sedlicek and Robert Carter, what else was going on during that time? Okay, so if I go back to 2200 BC, we start seeing all of these events. So since there's no filters, it's just going to show us literally everything. So we see Abraham, then we see slavery, we see that overlap of like, what is the time difference between Abraham and Moses? We see the death of Joseph. So we're seeing all of these events. But let's say I just want to talk about the Babylonian exile. Okay, so this is during this time period. Oh, and look at all of these resources. Let's see, 587 BC. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to type that. What else was going on in the world during 580? So now that we're in that time period, it's going to bring up all the events, not just the Babylonian exile. So we're going to see this was the same time as the murder of this guy, and Judah rebels against Babylon. The first Jewish temple is destroyed. And then it breaks down into more biblical events, like the book of Jeremiah is written, the prophetic career of Joel. This is good. What's going on? Oh, and now it's got world history if you scroll down. So this is more Bible studies. Okay, world history. I want world history, and then I want church history to be side by side. And then I'm going to do it by this so it all blends together. So 5087 is during the Babylon exile. It's also during the late dynastic period of Egypt. It's also during the Nebuchadnezzar stations. Okay. The archaic period in Greece. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Alexander the Great. So I'm just going to clear my cache. I'm going to do Alexander the Great. So now it's going to pull up everything that we know about Alexander. Okay, look at that. So this is his entire life. Everything that mentions his name is going to pop up. So I'm going to type in 334 BCE. Here we go. Okay, 334. And now we can see what was going on, what periods were going on, what global things were happening, anything, what other books were written, what was going on in other cultures, what was going on biblically, but also this is all Bible studies. So what was going on around the world? If I scroll down here, see, we still see that world history. If we go into world history at 334, we have to find that exact timeline. Okay, here we go. So we're connecting, okay, the Artemis, the life of a philosopher, Alexander the Great. So we have his entire lifeline right here. The Qumran manuscripts and Dead Sea Scrolls are written and hidden. What? And they have receipts for it. You see other empires, you see other dynasties being built, and now we're going farther down the timeline. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the birth of Jesus. So I'm going to clear everything. I'm just going to type in Jesus. What else was going on at the time of Jesus? We're a little spread out, so let's go here. Okay, here's the entire life of Jesus, and here's everything that pops up that mentions Jesus. If we know that it's right around the 9th BC. Okay, so now we're at the birth of Jesus and the life of Jesus. Actually, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to expand it just a little bit so we can see. Okay, this is where we have Paul's a missionary. But now what else is happening during 0 to about 30 that Jesus is alive? See, 0 to 30, life of Jesus. What else is happening? I'm going to go down to there. Now we're like much more granular in the life of Jesus. There we go. That's exactly what I want. Okay, cool. So during Jesus's life, what was going on in the world? This is all Bible studies, but if you want to get into like world history, what was going on in the world during Jesus' time? Okay, we've got Herod Antipas, we've got the reign of Tiberius. Oh, that's so cool. Maybe can I make it even more granular? That's not what I want. Lunar eclipse in Palestine. We've got all these events. So I'm going to scroll up to make sure we're in the right period. And you get to see what else is going on. We've got the reign of Caesar Augustus of Rome spanning the life of Jesus, the life of this guy. I don't know that guy. This is so cool. We've got towers being built, and so now we're kind of going farther down the timeline. So we're kind of getting away from this. So in like the thick of it, this is what's going on during Jesus's life around the world. Just from a church history standpoint, from a world history standpoint, we're going to see Jewish rebellion, periods in Palestine, the life of this guy, more people. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Okay, so now if we go to Constantine, we see that Constantine was alive in 300 AD. No, that's not what I want. Okay, let's do this. And I'm just going to move this over to, oops, there we go. Okay, so this is the time of Constantine. What else is going on? There's a lot of things that you can do here. And maybe I'm just picking the things that I'm interested in. That's why it's a tool that's great for you, because there's time periods that you can focus on that you're curious what else is going on in the world during that time period. I'm just going off base of the notes that I want a visual of how is everything kind of panning out. And I think that this does a really great job of just kind of talking about what comes after the next thing and what else is going on. Let's see. I think that there is another timeline tool. Yeah, this thing is insane. And if you're not sure, whoa. Yeah, there's like so many tools that you can just simply get right into. My personal favorite is the interactive media. I'm not going to lie. They've got before and after biblical sites. They've got the New Testament use of the Old Testament. That's definitely my favorite. Synopsis, weights and measures, the Psalms, the Proverbs. This is so cool. Anyways, you're probably wondering, how do I get that, Cass? Well, thankfully, I do have a link below. It does give me a kickback for any purchase that you make. It does not impact how much you pay, but it definitely helps me, and it's free to you to use my link. So I hope you enjoy this tool. I cannot wait to see how you guys are using it. It's probably going to be ways that I'm not using it. Comment below exactly which tool that you're the most excited for and which tool that you like, and we can make more videos on how we can use and optimize learning about God through the amazing power of Logos. Thanks for watching, and let's get biblically learning.